there. And we want to just hear from our reporter on the ground, Seth Olale, who is with the government spokesperson, to just give us a snippet of what currently is happening on the ground. Seth, good to see you again. Maybe you can bring us up to speed. You have the spokesperson with you. Good morning again.
Well, thank you so much, Dibal. Actually, perfect weather here at the Nyayo National Stadium. It's all sunny. The sky is blue. Perfect weather befitting the historic Memorial State funeral service for late Mzee Daniel Todotich Arap Moi. I can tell you that the stadium here is almost at full capacity. Over 20,000 Kenyans have already arrived here. They started arriving here from 4 a.m. and right now we have much more of dignitaries, both local and foreign, making their way to this particular venue. Remember that even behind me, this is the presidential dais. This is a VVIP area, and only those who are given access to be at this particular area, they all access accreditation, are the ones that are being allowed here, and also including the over 18 foreign delegation. And right now I just want the government spokesman, that is Cyrus Oguna, you are already impressed. You are one of the organizers of this particular event, and the turnout so far is so impressive. And just tell us what more to expect before this service begins.
Really, as you can see, you just said rightfully that the turnout has been impressive, and that was something that we are able to notice during the 3 days when Kenyans were paying their last respect to the head of state. They came in large numbers, and that gave an indication that even a larger number will be expected here. So as you can see, the gates opened as early as 3 a.m. in the morning, and they have continued to come even up to now. We expect that there'll be a large crowd here, but again, it has a capacity, and therefore for those who will not be able to make it here, we are encouraging it to stay at home and be able to watch the proceedings from their houses. But there are screens that have been mounted in town. They can be able to follow the proceedings from those screens that have been mounted, especially at Comesa grounds. So we are urging Kenyans to keep coming. But because we have limitation with capacity, for those who will not make it into the stadium, please stay at home and be able to watch from your home.
We know of 18 foreign delegation. By now, surely, government spokesman, we know who is in Nairobi and who is not. Just tell us who is here, who are we expecting that have already arrived here at the capital city?
Let me put it this way, that we expect 7 heads of states and governments. We expect in total 18 delegations that will be here during this occasion, and majority of them have arrived. And we continue to receive them. By the time we start, the service, all of them will be here. So the service is expected to start at 10 o'clock. We expect the head of state here at the same time, 10 o'clock, and it will go on until 1:30.
Until 1:30.
Yes.
And it's quite a tight program. Just tell us about who we're expecting to, offer some of the tributes to the late Mzee.
No, well, that is something that is being organized by the family, and we'll be able to get to know who will be saying what. But remember, this is a service. It is not a burial ceremony. It's a service. It's a church function, and therefore, being a service, it is more of both. It is family as well as government, and to the extent of who will be able to pay the tribute, that will be, perhaps jumping the gun. So let's hold that until the time when, that will be happening.
And it's now a week since that particular steering committee, the planning committee led by Head of Public Service Joseph Kinyua, on the footstep of Harambee House, did give a program about how this battle will go on, the entire state funeral. And so far, how is it? Is it going according to plan? We've had a very successful public viewing when Mzee was lying in state at the Parliament building. That ended yesterday, and right now it is now the climax, now preceding actually the battle that will take place tomorrow in Kabarak, Nakuru County. So far, according to your plans as a committee, what are some of the obstacles you've encountered, and what are some of the success that you have achieved since pioneering this initiative?
The committee really there are two committees. There's the National Steering Committee and the Technical Committee. Technical committee would be doing the tying bolts and nuts here and there. Now the steering committee is it's more strategic in its functions, and they have done so well. Where we are now, that we can all look around and see that we are excited and happy that this day has come. It could not have happened without the contribution and the effort put by the two committees. And now, in terms of obstacles that have been faced, all I can say that if only we had a bigger stadium, a bigger venue than this.
Kasarani is much bigger.
But there's some construction work going on there. But yeah, this is again more central to many people, right? And also, people were expecting that paying their last respect would have been extended by another week. But that tells you and shows you how much our former president was loved by many.
Actually, close to 200,000 Kenyans stand up for the body viewing.
For the paying their last respect. Now that number, there are those who still wanted to come, but they could not manage to come. And that's where they were requesting if, paying their last respect could have been extended by another week. Which is a good thing. I mean, I really want to thank Kenyans for standing up in that large numbers to be able to pay their last respect to their former head of state. It's an indication of love, an indication of solidarity. It's an indication that yes, we really love and value our leadership.
And of course, Kenyans are valuing this particular event. It is a state memorial, the national memorial for the late Mzee Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. It's happening here at the Nyayo National Stadium. According to the program, if I may just go through it very quickly, it is supposed to start officially at 10 a.m. to 20 a.m. when the arrival and sitting of the state officials and guests are expected here. And also at 10:30 a.m. we will have the arrival of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, who will be accompanied by Her Excellency the First Lady, that is Margaret Kenyatta. At 10:35 a.m. we will have the state reception of the cortege of President Daniel Moi. Then at 10:45 to 12 noon there will be the state memorial service, of course being led by the AIC Church. We know it is an interdenominational service, but the African Inland Church will going to lead this. And then from 12 to 2:15 p.m. we will have tributes from heads of states, foreign dignitaries who have turned up at this particular function. But you're better placed to answer me this question: what will happen as soon as the cortege of the late Mzee Moi arrives here at the Nyayo National Stadium? Will it be accorded a guard of honor? And what else are we expecting?
There will be a lap. Honestly, the cortege will be able to arrive through that gate and go around like this, a lap of honor. So once it arrives there, then the pallbearers, the military pallbearers will take the body and take it there. There will be a national anthem that will be played, and then after the burial service, the funeral service will take over. So the church service only starts after the military, has put the casket at the center of the tent there. Then thereafter the military function ends and the normal service starts from there, right? So really, maybe just to add is that once the service ends here, the body will go back to, the cortege will go back to Lee Funeral Home, where it will be there overnight, and tomorrow in the morning it will be flown to Kabarak, and it's expected to be in Kabarak at 8 o'clock in the morning. Yes.
So no anticipated viewing. Kenyans are used to lining up along the highways. They may be thinking it will be flown.
It will be flown to Kabarak. Yes, thank you.
Cyrus Oguna, the Kenyan government spokesman there, just giving a clear picture of what to expect here at the Nyayo National Stadium that is hosting the state memorial service for the late Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. I'm just in front of the presidential dais. This is where the VVIP will come, will access this particular venue. And what you're seeing even in front of you is pictures, memorable pictures of the former head of state, the second in command, the second commander of the armed forces, now being accorded a state memorial only befitting a king. And this will happen in about 1.5 hours from now, as I stated earlier. earlier is that the president, or rather the cortege of the late Mzee Moi, is expected to arrive here at 10 a.m. and that will be followed by the arrival of the head of state, that is President Uhuru Kenyatta, accompanied by the First Lady, Her Excellency Margaret Kenyatta. So that is what is happening here. For now, we have some bits of entertainment from various choirs, including the State House Choir and also choirs drawn from various churches, who are just, keeping the members of the public busy, who started arriving here from as early as 4 a.m. So definitely we shall keep you posted as to what is happening here at the Nyayo National Stadium that is hosting this historic and memorable state service for late Mzee.
Many thanks indeed. Seth Olale just keeping us apprised of what is happening currently at the Nyayo National Stadium. And we've heard also from the government's spokesman about the very extensive plans they have today for the state funeral, which right now we can see Kenyans are seated shoulder to shoulder, and also the choir crooning out their hymnals and dirges just to keep in the spirit of today's ceremony. And this, we know also 7 heads of state will be in attendance, 18 delegations, 18 delegates also will be in attendance, so to speak. We have also members from the diplomatic corps, and 7 head of state, including the Ethiopian delegation led by the President of Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Her Excellency Sahel Work Zawidi, as well, will be in attendance. You can see pictures right now of the security personnel as well, making sure that security is heightened in and around Nyayo National Stadium. And as you heard from Seth Olale also, we have entertainment ongoing right now. Many choirs also in attendance, including that of State House. I have with me still in studio just to give maybe their closing remarks, and then we'll hand over also to our colleagues as well here at NTV to continue with the coverage. Tena Molo, it was your turn to just speak. Maybe you can give also your final remarks as we are winding up, briefly.
Thank you, Deba. First of all, I think the military should so far be commended. Their management of this process of mourning the late retired President Moi has
so to speak.
So he really encouraged young girls to go to school, you know, built their dormitories, libraries, laboratories, and many other things. So he really pushed girl child education along that line. He was a regional peacemaker, and we know how through IGAD, his responsibilities in Sudan and even Somalia, how he ensured that amidst that turmoil, there was also a semblance of peace. And he ensured that we had peace within ourselves here. And anyone who betrayed that trust, you know, faced the wrath. Finally, allow me to also say that without Moi, Uhuru would not be president today. Uhuru is akin to what we read in Standard 5, story of Simon Makonde, who was born on a Monday, died on a Sunday, but having accomplished all. You know, he made Uhuru chairman of some tourist board, then to a nominated member of parliament, and to a cabinet minister, and within no minute, this guy was running to become president in 2002. But perhaps Moi saw something that we did not, and later, Uhuru became president and is now serving his second term. So we owe it to Moi that Uhuru is our president today. And, you know, he liberalized the telecommunication industry. Had it not been for that, breaking that monopoly, which was by Kenya Post and Telecommunications Corporation, we would still be in that darkness to date. But when he liberalized that market, companies such as Safaricom, Airtel, and many others had an opportunity to also expand the mobile money transfers, things that Kenya can now be very proud of. And finally, you know, he sought forgiveness in public amidst all that he had done before, and some of which are very dark, like, you know, the Nyayo House torture chambers. How would you do that? Nyati House torture chambers. How would somebody do that to a people who he should be leading? But at the end of the day, he became so meek and sought forgiveness from Kenyans and said even if he has wronged somebody, he sought forgiveness. For those whom he wronged, you know, he also, in retrospect, asked for their forgiveness. So, because he did that, the final decision lies with his maker in heaven, but we hope that because of his frequent Sunday church services, he would be in New Jerusalem, where we are going to.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
You probably didn't know that Moi had a Luo name. In Luo, we would call him Moi Wododongo.
Moi Wododongo.
So let me send him Moi Wododongo Digikwe. Means Moi son of Odongo go in peace.
Yes.
So we can say Moi
Wododongo.
Makodongo.
Makodongo, yes.
So word is for Mark.
Yes, yes.
I tell you. Right. Okay. Your song. Mythical Inturi. Briefly.
I think you should lead us in the song.
No. Now we wanted to hear this, your favorite song. Just give us one line as we're winding up. Your favorite song, Jared, prepare one, or tell one. Then we're out of the studio.
Why don't we agree on one?
You want the Dolly Parton or blues?
No.
For Moi.
Patriotic, for Moi.
We should just agree on one. We already sang, Fimbo.
Yes.
So which one should we sing now?
I think in Atawale, Kenya.
Right.
That is the only one that I need.
Lead us there.
Yes.
Lead us.
I'm not a very good singer.
Tawala Kenya, Tawala, Tawala Kenya, Tawala, Raisi Moi, Tawala Kenya, Tawala, Tawala Kenya, Tawala, Tawala Kenya, Tawala, Raisi Moi, Tawala Kenya, Tawala. Unaongoza vyema, unaongoza vyema. Raisi Moi, unaongoza vyema, unaongoza vyema, unaongoza vyema. Raisi Moi, unaongoza vyema.
Now we can see
Mbele, peleka Kenya mbele. Raisi Moi, peleka Kenya mbele. Peleka Kenya mbele. Peleka Kenya mbele. Raisi Moi, peleka Kenya mbele.
Thank you very much. Jared, you should join. Are you in the parliament? You're in the parliament choir, are you?
Yes, I am.
Huh?
I am.
You are?
But you know,
you're a good
there's
singer.
no designated parliament choir. It's random.
There's random. Okay.
As it comes.
Just a moment. We want just to cross over to Nyayo National Stadium, where you can see also the family of the late retired Daniel Arap Moi also is right trickling in right now, as we can see. these are Kenyans also who've turned out in force today, sitting shoulder to shoulder for a very commemorative day that we are holding as a nation today. They've turned out in large numbers. In fact, Seth Olale was telling us the stadium is almost in full capacity right now. And alongside that particular footage also, you can see that is a road where we expect the military courage that will be bearing the body of late Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Right now, we saw it coming from the Lee Funeral Home, and it was headed to State House. There from we shall be snaking its way to Nyayo National Stadium, and that cavalcade also will be received by President Uhuru Kenyatta at Nyayo National Stadium, and the ceremony will begin at 10:45. You can see also George Mohoho there. We can see also the Principal Secretary, Ministry of Interior also there. We can see family members of the entire family members of the late Mzee Moi also in attendance as well. So I want to thank our panelists so much for this delectable discussion we've had today. We shall continue with this particular coverage. We'll leave with these images as it is right now. The president, that is elect President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, has been, of course, lying in state in Parliament building. Now is expected to lie in repose at the Nyayo National Stadium. You can see members of the diplomatic corps also in attendance as well. Many dignitaries I've mentioned before. 7 head of states will be here as well, amongst other 18 delegates. And so today is a very monumental day as a country where Kenyans of all stripes also are standing in solidarity with the Moi family. Thank you for your valued company. My name is Dibala Nair. We continue with the coverage apace.
Thank you.
sana State House Choir, kwaya yetu ya Ikulu, asante sana, as we continue celebrating the life of His Excellency Daniel Arap Moi, former president, with song. Officers from the Ministry of Public Works, kindly, Public Works, tuweze kuonana hapa pahali niko kwa heshima. We continue, mwalimu.
Wakiendelea kushirikiana na kwaya ya NHIF, tunawaalika kwa ushirikiano na mwalimu Thomas Wasonga waweze kutupa nyimbo mbili, wimbo Tawala Kenya na wimbo Filosofia ya Nyayo. Tafadhali mkiwa tayari, uwanja ni wenu.
Kwaya tuanze. Mwalimu tuanze.
Ukitoka hapa urudi nyumbani. Ah, man kijungu. You want something to do? No. Why are you here? Boss, enough shot hapa.
Now it's professional, eh?
CK, can you hear me? CK?
Telling us how they're going to march all the way to the Nyayo National Stadium, and I was asking you, won't their feet get sore?
No, they won't. I mean, this is so historic for everyone participating in this. Remember, it's
So.
So the issue of tiredness really, maybe they will feel this later in the night after all this is said and done. But remember, they have another one tomorrow. So it's going to be it's been a crazy last few days. It's going to be crazy today again and tomorrow. But it's all part of honoring the former head of state who has been the longest serving president. But as they are marching to Nyayo Stadium, you initially were asking why Nyayo National Stadium and not Moi Sports Center Kasarani, as initial reports indicated. We can only assume that perhaps the state, the military, and also the family reached a consensus to do this at Nyayo. Nyayo because the National Memorial Service being held there. This is a facility that Mzee Moi made sure he pulled all stops to construct in 1983. Well, many of us were born. I was already born then.
Well, I wasn't yet born, but okay.
So it was his pet project. It was Mzee Moi's pet project. You remember, he's the only president who's managed to build all these major stadiums.
Yeah, that's true.
We're waiting for more.
Yeah.
But there was no borrowing of funds for this stadium, for the construction of Nyayo National Stadium, surprisingly. And they are saying that constructing it for Moi was because he was a sports enthusiast. He wanted to grow sports. And so his commitment to sports was the construction of Nyayo National Stadium, obviously to christen it after his name. And it is only a 30,000-seater stadium. So if you're comparing the choice of venues, this is significant for Mzee Moi because the significance is on many national holidays. This is where Mzee Moi stood on the podium and spoke, and it's very significant for him because one of the last significant events he held there, that's when he was actually issuing a statement and saying that he had forgiven anyone that might have wronged him.
Yes.
And he also asked for forgiveness from anyone he might have wronged.
Yes.
And this has been a very memorable and
it's been widely shared across social media.
Yes. So I think the choice of this as the main venue, MZ Moi stood many times during his 24 years rule, befits this kind of celebration today.
Okay, Nuru, we saw, if you're saying it's a 30,000 seater stadium, we saw people as early as 5 a.m.
Wamefika wengi sana, lakini nadhani kwa kufikia sasa hakuna anayeruhusiwa kuingia, labda viongozi au wale viongozi mashuhuri ambao labda waalikwa wamefika wakati huu. Lakini sasa tunaona tu moja kwa moja, mtazamaji, tunamwona rais, naibu wa rais pale tayari anasubiri msafara huo unaobeba mwili wake mwenda zake rais wa pili Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. Msafara huo unaelekea moja kwa moja hadi katika uwanja wa Nyayo, ambapo wananchi tayari wanasubiri tu kulaki na kumpa heshima za mwisho marehemu.
Yes, Oliver, thank you. Actually, along Kenyatta Avenue, where the procession has just joined from the processional way, as you can see there in that picture, of course, just being guided by the escorts and, of course, the band marching behind there and the gun carriage that is carrying the body of the late former president is just behind that band that is marching there. And they've just come onto Kenyatta Avenue, and they will take this roundabout at the intersection with the Uhuru Highway before then proceeding on to the Nyayo National Stadium. Earlier, we did see also the presidential escort just leaving leaving State House as well and heading to Nyayo National Stadium as well. So right there is the procession, the cortege, and the gun carriage led by that military band. And they're going to march all the way to the Nyayo National Stadium. This is interesting. They must have been working out to just keep fit for this very long journey of just marching all the way to Nyayo National Stadium. So that is what it looks like right now. Just the turn next to Serena Hotel onto Kenyatta Avenue now as they march step by step. They're approaching the roundabout here, the intersection of Uhuru Highway and Kenyatta Avenue, before taking the turn and then all the way to Nyayo National Stadium. Kenyans have turned out here in hundreds actually, because some of them are not able to go to the Nyayo National Stadium, which we believe is about full to capacity at this moment in time. So a lot of them actually just out here at the roundabout, just waiting to see at least the cortege and the gun carriage carrying the body of the late former president. And it's all quiet. Actually, vehicles are being turned away at various positions around the Uhuru Highway and Kenyatta Avenue as well. And then police presence here, very heavy as well, just guarding the sidewalk really to make sure that the procession moves on smoothly. As you see there in your picture, the military band playing music as they lead the procession and the gun carriage there heading on to Nyayo National Stadium from State House and Nairobi. And earlier we did see top of the range of vehicles carrying various dignitaries, members of the diplomatic corps, leaders in the country also just driving to Nyayo National Stadium through Uhuru Highway. Just to be able to be there in time for the arrival of the body and the head of state, the president there. The deputy president, as we saw earlier, already at Nyayo National Stadium, ready to receive the president. And now the body is close to this roundabout at Uhuru Highway and Kenyatta Avenue. It's about to take that turn. Let's just listen into the music. Behind the procession there is the presidential escort, where the president is actually trailing the gun carriage and the procession all the way to the Nyayo National Stadium. If you can see that picture, in a moment you'll be able to see the presidential escort with the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta just escorting this gun carriage and the procession all the way to the Nyayo National Stadium. So that is the military band marching all the way to Nyayo National Stadium. And that is the gun carriage, a special military vehicle carrying the casket and the body of the late former President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. This is the final farewell journey. The state funeral service at Nyayo National Stadium on this penultimate day of what has been 1 week of mourning since the death of the late former president. They are just heading on to Nyayo Stadium. They are actually taking the round